I'm here with Conan of Exmortus to talk about their upcoming new record, Necrophony, out August 25th on Nuclear Blast. First of all, thank you very much for taking the time. How's things going with you today?
How you doing? Thanks for having me. I'm doing good. Had my coffee, feeling good.
So you're ready to go. You're ready to go. So
Yeah.
let me start off by asking you this: over the years, have you changed your approach when it comes to making a new record? How has your own personal development and evolution has been throughout all
Oh,
the albums of Exmortus?
yeah. I mean, I would say I'm getting better at it. Learning a lot still. It also helps that when we've been working with Zach Oren for a long time now too. Five sessions with him. Our first one was Slave to the Sword album. So he taught us a lot of. He had the patience to show us a lot of techniques and just show us the ropes of how to record more efficiently and whatnot. And yeah, I guess that's the actual process, right? We're definitely learning a lot more now. And but writing wise, yeah, I would say again, we're trying to become more efficient at that. Just try to put out like better music and more efficiently, quickly, as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, definitely we sound a little different this time. Uh, we kind of went for a certain sound the last three albums, right? So we figured if we're going to be a part of this roster, Nuclear Blast roster, which we're so honored to be a part of. We try to like emphasize that change of and try to emphasize a new cycle. So this album is a little darker, and we did have that in mind. We didn't push it too much, but I guess it just kind of came out that way. So yeah, this is a pretty good fresh take of Exmortus this time around. I think.
This is also the longest record that you guys have released. When you're putting down an album and you start to see the length that the record is becoming, does that ever worry you in the modern day age where people have short attention span, putting out the longest album?
Yeah, I know what you mean, and honestly, I don't know. I don't care. I just, I mean, I should care. I mean, at least it's something to keep in mind, right? And we had that in mind, but we just couldn't. We didn't want to take out any of the songs. We just felt like they all kind of have their own place in the piece as a whole. So yeah, we didn't want to take out any songs to make it shorter or whatever. It's just that's what we have. Like we felt like this is our expression at this time. Let's capture it, and this is it. And if people have short attention spans, so be it. Someone will like it. I
As
hope.
long as you like it, I mean, like you guys have to
Yeah,
like it first and foremost, because if you guys don't
exactly.
like it, then it's going to be very difficult for other people to really be engaged with it.
And that's exactly what we go with. We're just like we're very stoked and proud of the work. Every song we want them in there. That's going to be that. So unfortunately, I guess yes, the attention spans are diminishing, but you know what, fuck it, we're here to rock.
You touched a little bit on the production of this record. I felt like the production of this album was really important in order to emphasize all the technicalities that the sound has and all the different elements. There's a lot of little nuances. It's not necessarily a straightforward record. I mean, it sounds straightforward when you first listen to it, but the more you listen to it, the more you realize that there's a lot more under the hood that you can really get
Mhm.
into the weeds with it. But I felt the production helped make that
Oh,
experience a little bit less cumbersome. Do you
mm.
see it from that standpoint as well?
Oh, absolutely. It just yeah, this time around, I think I really wanted to make every line heard. Like you could hear the bass a lot more this time.
Yeah.
There's always push and pull, right? Sometimes you have to take the guitars back a bit, with mixing and whatnot. But I think Zach killed it this time around, as he always does. But yeah, this album definitely has more intricacies. Um, we do a lot, a little, actually, yeah, I would say a lot more counterpoint and stuff going on here, and also just repeating motivic ideas throughout the album that I just wanted to have a cohesive element throughout. So if you hear something in one song, you're going to hear it somewhere else, and I want it to be like an experience where it's like, oh yeah, that sounds familiar, and that sounds, connected in a way. So that's another reason why we didn't want to take out any songs, because if I take out a song, that takes out, much of the elements that are presented in the rest of the album. So it's like it's all within each other. It's all one organic piece of music. At least that's what we wanted to do this time around. We tried that before, but it was a little more disconnected. This time I think we kind of we accomplished, that organic feel. So I also want to do it that way because it kind of demands more replays. Makes you listen to the album more than once to be like, oh, that's right, that's cool, I can notice that now, and whatnot. So I want that effect. So that's what we're going for.
So in your views, is this a more technical album?
Yeah, yes and no. I think I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's the hardest one. I think, yeah, there's a lot of hard pieces to play, especially the Storm of Strings, that instrumental, that Vivaldi
Yeah, I was just going to
cover.
mention that because I think that song kind of goes towards my point of this being a more technical sounding record. That song is like
Mhm.
the climax of technicality, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very difficult, but also very fun. We wanted to get it down to a point where it's like, can we rock to it? And yeah, we were able to rock to it. So okay, cool. Otherwise, I don't see the point in being too crazy because I'm gonna miss so many notes. It's not gonna be fun. But yeah, we do push ourselves a lot, of course. This time around, we push ourselves, at least with that piece, very technically. Just a lot of crazy string skipping and arpeggios and fast, scale licks. But also just what do you call it? Just riffing, like rhythmically. There's a lot of rhythms that I kind of pushed my own personal limits and all of our limits, just to be like more aggressive and faster maybe at times. So yeah, I think this is, yeah, our most extreme album yet, in general sense. So we did really push ourselves.
In this view of the album, in terms of the technicality, a song like Storm of Strings, do you was it hard for you to find room for some of the songs to kind of bring in that organic feel and just breathe a little bit better from a guitar standpoint?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And like, not all of our songs are like that. Some songs have a lot of that, or whatever, but we still try to like have contrasting sections within a song, and even song after song of what has a lot of fast riffage. One has more chuggy riffs. We try to like you know uh create a sense of balance throughout the listen. So yeah, we try not to overdo it because there's a lot of notes, and we want the moments where there's a lot of notes to kind of shine. So if they're surrounded by other sections of too many notes, it's not going to really work. So yeah, we try to pay attention to that. We try to make it flow. We try to make it go here and there with riffage, make things breathe a little better. With the slower sections, of course. So yeah.
One of the elements that I enjoyed the most was the solos on this record. I always feel like sometimes bands just throw in a solo because it's kind of what's expected. It's like
Right.
deathcore bands or metalcore bands with a breakdown. It's like, and you just throw one there because that's what everybody's hoping to hear. But on this album wasn't the case. I always felt like every solo section on this record had a purpose, had a point, suited the song. But it not only suited the song, it suited the songs that were around them as well. There was a lot to take from the solos. How complex is the process for you guys to put solos together for the right song with the right sound with the right vibe?
Yeah, yeah, it just depends because I know what you mean about that. Like, we don't want to just throw in a solo section just because we have to. A lot of the times it does feel that way, and we're guilty of that. But we try to make it very with a purpose. So what we try to do is I try to repeat motivic ideas that are present within the song already, and I try to incorporate them in the phrasing of a solo. And because I feel the solo should be an expression that's what's already heard, and kind of just what you could do to further develop that into this section, because it's kind of more freestyle. At least I think it should feel a little more freestyle, but not out of place. It should repeat motivic ideas you've already heard. And yeah, we try to do it that way. Obviously sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes you kind of noodle. And it just depends, whatever the song calls for, so it just depends. But yeah, we try to pay attention to that. We want to make them memorable and whatnot.
Do you have a specific solo or a solo section in general on this record that stands out in your mind as that the one that you're perhaps looking forward the most to performing live?
Well, we have been performing Mind of Metal, and I've been having fun with that one. That one kind of keeps me on my toes, because I mean it's not the hardest solo that I've written. It's just there's a lot of key changes. At least the first solo I do, it goes I do E minor to G minor, and it's like awkward phrasing. It's like two measures in E minor, then four in G minor, and it's just like, I don't know. I wanted it to be weird. It just sounded right to me, and I used the motivic ideas within the song in a a shreddy way, and I just had fun doing that, and I still have fun playing it live because even to this day, I'll play songs and I'll do my solo sections a little differently. I just that's my nature. I'll change it up a bit, and so there's a new take every time. Every time I play a song in my solo sections, it's just, I don't know. That's how I am.
It's your new vision of what your vision was
Yeah, exactly. At the time, this is
at
what
the
I
time.
feel. I'll follow it for the most part, but there's going to be little nuances that are going to be different, and I hope you catch them.
You mentioned the bass popping on this album. I mean, I think you have to be deaf not to pay attention to how much the bass pops throughout the entire record. Was that something that came at the production level, or is that something that you already had in mind when you started writing the album, that you wanted the bass to have a little bit more impact?
Yeah, I would say a little bit of both, because a lot of the time, most of the time, the bass, at least how we write for bass, is they should not do the exact same thing as the guitar. So at least not all the time. Sometimes you have to. It sounds good when everything's in unison, but yeah, we try to make it stand out. We want everything to have a thick texture, in important parts, for a certain effect. So yeah, we try to write it that way, and we have to have it heard, otherwise it'll lose that effect. So this time around, yeah, the bass really cuts through. It's probably his Fender Bassman head that it's really nice sounding. It's really bright. But yeah, I am very happy how it came out, because you could hear the bass more, and you could just hear the whole big long texture of what we're trying to achieve.
Which also gives it a little bit more technicality to the whole album, to the whole sound, to the whole
Oh,
experience.
yeah, and there's some pretty crazy bass lines in the album too. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gonna have a blast playing those live, Cody.
When I was listening to the record, I get to the last song. Well, technically the bonus track. I get to the bonus track, and the song comes on, and I'm like, "Wow, this is Iron Maiden." But did they get Bruce Dickinson to sing on this track? Because I was like, "Holy shit! It sounds like Maiden." Like,
Yeah.
how did you guys pull that off?
Well, that wasn't me singing. I don't have those pipes. That was actually our bassist's brother. He's in a band called Fortress. He's a singer for Fortress, and yeah, he just has a really good Dickinson sounding voice, and he has that range and expression, and it just came out. He nailed it. You know,
Absolutely. I think it's like
quite
one of the
simply.
greatest Iron Maiden covers of all time. I mean, if I didn't know it was on your record, like I would actually probably think it's just like a remastered version that they just released or something. It's that good. I was
Wow,
blown
wow.
I was blown away. Like it was really good. It sounded like Maiden, both musically and vocally, but at the same time, it had a little bit of a Exmortus twang to it. It was
Oh yeah.
just like it was such a happy surprise at the end of the listening experience.
Wow. Well, that means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we love Maiden, and we just wanted to do it justice. And we wanted to do that song in particular because that's, to me, I think Seventh Son is like just their darkest thematic album, and that song was just really, evil sounding. So we're like, let's cover this on the album. Just put it on there. Fuck it.
Well, when it comes to your vision of a record, outside of the sound, outside of the lyrics, how into the details do you get with the artwork? Because the artwork on this album is really interesting, and then obviously the overall title that the record takes.
Well, the title we came up with a long time ago, and I don't remember who actually came up with it. It might have been me because I'm the more classically inspired kind of guy. Because our previous drummer, my cousin Mario, he was in the band for such a long time. He would come up with the best titles, the best. He pretty much named all of our albums. Pretty much, I think it was all his ideas to name them the way they were named, and he wrote a lot of like song ideas and lyrics too. So I forget who it was, but yeah, we came up with Necrophony, and we're like, well, we never used it. I think it just at the time it didn't fit. We wanted it to use it for an album that's going to have, really classical, a lot of classical elements, and I guess I wasn't ready at the time. So finally, with this time with working with this album, we felt like, oh shit, it feels right. A symphony for the dead. That's how we felt, during the pandemic. We felt like dead, and our careers are dead. We feel dead. There's like everything's hopeless. um and of course we got ourselves out of that negative mindset and pushed forward and recorded the album. But a lot of that introspection, a lot of that emotion is present in the songs, lyrically and musically. So it was good timing to name it Necrophony, because I think it just fits very well. As for the artwork, we went with Ahot. That's how he goes, by Ahot on Instagram. His name is Toha Mashudi. He has been making our shirts, designing our shirts for a long time. He's designed such great t-shirt designs. So we decided to have him do the artwork, and I just told him the album title, I think, and to make it look like classical stuff. Pretty much. And yeah, I love that he put 4 dudes in the front, 4 dead musicians, and that's like that represents the 4 of us beautifully.
Yeah, no, and they all look like they're Victorian, the way they're dressed and everything like
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
So it gives it a nice little vibe as well. It adds to the whole symphony style and approach. And yeah, outstanding work, I must say. When it comes from a vocal standpoint, do you prepare coming into a record differently from record to record, depending on how you wrote the music for said record?
Not so much. For me, I'm very like I consider myself first and foremost a guitarist. Never really consider myself a vocalist, even though nowadays I feel like they're inseparable for Exmortus. Like I have to sing and play. But when I write, I don't really plan on how exactly I'm going to project the ideas. Because I've already noticed a lot of fans have noticed that my vocal style changes like every album. But I don't really do that on purpose. Maybe I would like to think I'm getting better, but I just go with whatever is at the moment. Like I hear the music in my head. I have I'm in the little the room to record my vocals, and I just belch it out. I whatever I feel at the time when I'm like reading the lyrics and just or writing them at the time, I'll act it out. I'll interpret it and act it out how everything sounds at the time. So yeah, I never really plan on that. I just kind of go for it at the time.
Does this album throw any new obstacles at you that that the previous records perhaps hadn't done so?
Not really. We're getting a little better, little by little, like just trying. We did a lot of pre-production. I'm getting a little more savvy with how to record ourselves and stuff, and our drummer as well. He has his own interface where he just records the drum parts. So that's how we shared ideas a lot of the time, partly because we couldn't see each other during the pandemic. So we shared ideas like that. That's how we got good at that, or at least good enough to share our musical ideas. And yeah, so this time around we were very much more prepared. We did very few last minute decisions, and I mean, compared to the rest of our albums, we always did last minute decisions, entire songs, even.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, I would say this time we were very much more prepared, and I think we're going to be like that from now on. More prepared every time. So
It's the next step in the evolution of Exmortus.
yes.
Be more prepared, bring all your
Yes.
homework done, and get ready when you hit the studio.
Yeah, it's just a better time for everyone. There's less stress, because the recording process should be somewhat stressful. Of course, you don't know how it's gonna happen. You're kind of nervous. Maybe I don't know. I don't really get too nervous anymore. But maybe speaking for the rest of the guys, but it's just a better time for the engineer. He's not going to be as annoyed. Be like, all right, let's do it again. You take 250, right? So yeah, it's just a better time for everyone.
Well, one last question for you, and that is,
Yeah.
now that the album is just around the corner, August 25th on Nuclear Blast, what are the plans for hitting the road and promoting this new album?
Well, we have a couple of things confirmed for sure. Our confirmed show is September 17th at the Metal Injection Fest over here in SoCal, and we're really stoked to do that one, and another one on November 18th with Violence and Bonded by Blood. But yeah, we're trying to work on a tour, an actual North American tour, hitting up the states, and of course Canada. So yeah, I think it's not confirmed yet, but we're working on an October kind of thing. So we'll see what happens.
Well,
Hopefully,
as far as Canada is concerned, you're picking the worst time possible to. I mean, I guess not worse. I mean,
yeah,
December would be far worse than October, but
right. I know, but I feel like we just can't just miss out on the just hitting the road for when when the album comes out before the year ends. I figure, I mean, we've dealt with terrible winter conditions, but hopefully we're okay this time. We'll prepare more for the weather this time. Get actual winter tires
winter
and
tires.
chains because we usually just go with our regular sunny Californian tires. Just
That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. Not in
no,
Toronto or Alberta or any of those places. Like
no.
I'm in Toronto, so we start to get snow around October. So around things for our Thanksgiving is in October, so we start to get snow around that time. Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys are coming in at a nice cool time. Let's put it that way.
Okay, good. Awesome. I'm kind of tired of the heat over here, man. It's been so fucking hot. Need a change.
I only get summer for a month, which is August. Like
Wow.
give me the rest of the year, so I don't feel your pain at all. I don't.
Well, you feel a different pain. You feel a different pain. It's just
Yeah,
extreme
that's true.
cold.
That's true. Like normally it's my back from shoveling the snow all the time.
Oof, yeah.
That's where my pain resides. There's no pain from shoveling the sun. Like there's no such
No,
thing.
no, no.
So
That's true.
you're doing okay. You're doing okay. Conan,
Well,
thank you
yeah.
so
Well, I
much
think I'll
for
be
your time
fine.
today, man. I really appreciate talking about the record, talking to you. I hope to see you in Toronto around that October timeline. And
Yes,
all the
yes.
best with the release.
Thank you. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Take care, man. All the best.
Take it. I'll see you soon. Later.